I asked the owner of a comedy club the other night if they liked birds. He said, yeah, I like birds. I was like, great. I want to ask if I can do this joke tonight when I do my set. It's a joke about birds. So he says, birds? All right, well, what's the joke? So apparently, she can take a cockatoo. Right? How's that? Okay? Yeah. So the comedy club owner said, I'm sorry, but that joke is just not gonna fly here. This comes to you from the Journal of Minister Matthew Forbes, the adventures of a struggling artist mixed into the world of mysticism and dark arts. Aside from battling my inner demons, I find myself matching wits. And I'm like, why? Why is everyone so mad at me when I'm just trying to be happy? Every time. Why? 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 With demonic and angelic forces. What can I say? You don't choose the mystic arts, it chooses you. So if you see me in the cemetery, just know I'm trying to save a soul. And next time it might be you. Open the gates of your mind. The damned saint has arrived. I had a quiet few weeks after the holiday, but one night my friend asked if I'd like to go out to a local pub and play some pool together. I had finished up performing ceremonial rites at a funeral wake of my recently deceased, so I went home to clean up, and around 8 p.m. my friend Michael stopped by to pick me up. My friend Mike had taught me some more in-depth lessons at the game of pool, but I still was only moderately better. We had been friends for years. Mike had recently come back from hiking the Appalachian Trail, and his spiritual awareness had definitely increased, at least tenfold at this point. I was really impressed with it. It wasn't a long ride, and heading into the pub I noticed a group of ruffians. Most seemed tame, but there was one fellow who stuck out. He had a dark vibe to him, and out of curiosity I put on my blue lens glasses. Where my red lens glasses helped me see the astral frequency, these blue lenses help me see a person's aura, or any living creature's aura, more in depth. And sure enough, just what I had thought, this guy had a bad aura. So I'll have to keep an eye on this dude. Mike and I played a few rounds of pool, and he wanted to go outside for a smoke, or a vape, I guess. I think he'd quit the hard stuff. As we strode outside, passing by in the doorway, I noticed one of the guys that had been outside. He kind of gave us a funny look, of course. And when we got outside, I noticed these tamer dudes suddenly became a little more thuggish. Suddenly, they got some strange attitude about them as they walked over. One of them said, "Hey, you got any spare cash?" And the other one just put on some sinister, shit-eating grin. But Mike and I ignored him. Fuck these guys. And then another guy came up. And he goes, "Hey guys, what do you got in those pockets?" And he's trying to be tough, but, we did come from the streets, Mike and I, when we were younger. Yeah, we didn't really grow up together, but we met each other sort of after our rough and tumble upbringing. And you get to learn how to read a person pretty fast when you have to live on the streets, or survive on them in some way. And looking at these guys, they kind of look like some chumps. But still, in the back of my mind, I know that there's something up with that guy hiding in the back behind all these fools, and I get this sense that it's sort of, something's lurking, something's waiting to come, but, is it a surprise attack or something? So we're sort of on the alert, but, we're playing it cool. So Mike turns and he says, "Hey guys, if you're gonna start any trouble, just get fucking lost, alright?" And, well, I think that Mike sort of set them off. So these guys start getting a little bit closer and into our faces. Another one walks up. There's now 4 of them standing in front of us. The 5th one hiding in the background. And this 4th guy says, "Yo, dudes, you guys starting trouble or what? You're trying to tell us to get lost. You guys are the ones starting trouble." And they come in a little bit closer. So I said, "Yo, dude, you guys are the ones that are starting shit. So, what's up?" Mike and I look at each other like we're ready to knuckle up, But stepping closer was their leader from the back. And this guy, he looks a little different. Or he doesn't look as, all these other guys, they look like they're just prototypes of the same douchebag, but something about this guy, he's just a little, darker. He's got tanner skin. Looks a little more beat up. Looks like a little more scars on his face or something. Something about him is just totally off. He sort of had this Brandon Lee look from The Crow, It's kind of. And he comes up with this. He walks closer and he has this sort of raspy, dark voice. He says, "If my boys say you're causing trouble." So I say, "You know what, guys? Why don't we settle this over a game of pool? I've lost enough, but I'm willing to play some more." But they're not buying it. Their leader is shaking his head. He says, "I don't think so." And he looks at us. He stops and just keeps looking at us. And he sort of parts the seas between the 4 guys. And he walks up and he says, like they said, "Show us what's in your pockets." And one of the 4 guys kind of leans in and goes, "Yeah, listen to Clash, man. He's the boss here." And even though my friend Mike isn't the tallest lad in the land, he's tough as nails. And he steps forward and goes, "No. Fuck you, punks. Back off. Step off." I notice this Clash guy begins to move in a way that for some reason catches my attention. See, most people would say that, he was just kind of maybe messed up or something and trying to, just kind of trying to get his balance or something. But the more you watched him, if you had a trained eye, you'd say that he was trying to prepare himself for something that was very reminiscent of an act that I read from one of my occult books recently, actually. But no matter what it is, whether it's some sort of force field or surprise attack, you have to be ready for anything. So I stepped up next to Mike. My hand in my pocket was wrapped around my Tibetan banishing purba. Luckily, I took it with me, something I don't always do, but before I left, something had told me, just in case. And then, taking out a deck of cards, this Clash guy, he takes the cards out and begins to chant a spell. He puts his hand over the cards, and he keeps chanting. But I can't quite make out the phrases. Mike says, "What the fuck is this shit?" Like, WTF, dude? I watch his movements carefully a little longer and laugh to myself and say, it's just some low-level magic, I think, but I'm not certain what exactly. And then Clash takes the card and it begins to illuminate in his hand as he holds it in front of us. And now, I'm beginning to think that this is a particular spell that I've heard about originated in Brazil. The card begins to glow, and the smile is starting to grow further on his face. You can see the card, but his corners of his lips are stretching past the width of the card. And he says in that grovelly, sinister voice, "Give us your cash or get sliced the fuck up." And then Mike closes his fist in front of his body and takes a step forward and says, "Over my dead body." He's in serious, I'm gonna seriously fuck you up mode, I think, but I don't know if this magic Clash dude is wielding it, you know, if just our fists are gonna hold up, especially with these four other pukes standing next to him. So Clash begins to throw the card, and somehow, timing it just right, I'm able to whip my jacket off and around us like a matador. And as a quick defense, I trip one of the punks into Clash, and the deck of cards falls to the floor. The gravel should neutralize the energy for now. Clash is a little shaken up and he dusts himself off. He looks over and says, "That was a bad idea, hombre. Those cards were my easy way out for you two. Now I'm gonna invoke Novarine. I don't know how one of your eyes spotted my charger deck, but now you'll pay." And then, grinding his feet, the balls of his feet into the gravel, he begins a new chant. So, trying to stay calm, I put on my red lens specs. The fastest astral call to Paul I've ever made so far. Well, except for that one time. Well, never mind, I'll talk about that some other time. But, so, after a brief moment, Paul, as usual, begrudgingly comes in. "What is it, Matt?" "I was busy, dude." "Paul, this is nuts. I'm trying to, well, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to stop this guy from committing some kind of invocation thing or something. I don't know. He calls it Novarine or something. I thought that was a weed strain. I don't know. But do you mind, like, helping me out? Just listen to what he's saying. See if you can pick up some words or something. I mean, I know you've read more text. You have a little more knowledge than I do with this shit. So, through my red lenses, I see Paul walk around a little bit past me and closer to everyone else in front of us. He listens for a little bit. He says, "No, I don't know. What the fuck is that?" But Paul says, "I think that if I go a layer deeper, I'll be able to get a little bit closer to see what energies he's working with. See if there's some kind of demons or some kind of source that he's pulling from, that maybe something's, puppeteering him or something." Meanwhile, Clash's chants become a little bit louder.
And then suddenly, Paul appears back again. And he's laughing. He says, "Well, don't worry, Matt. This guy's a chump. He's a low-level mage. I called it. I blurt out, and then catch my attention. Sorry, go on." Paul, looking a little annoyed, but laughs to himself. "The easiest thing to do is scare him. Let him feel a real ghost. From what I see, this shit is weaker than a fortune cookie." Alright, great, Paul. Thanks, man. Now, where do you need me to do that? And Paul looks over at Clash and the punks, and he looks back over at me, and he laughs. "Matt, pretend you're about to invoke something yourself. Give him a taste of his own medicine, and I will do the rest." So, I step forward and lift up my arms. Mike kind of steps back, and he's a little baffled at what's going on. He knows that I have become more spiritual and to practice more spiritual practices, but he was confused at first. But I ignored him. I had to step up. I had to put on a serious face. You've got to be an actor sometimes. You can't just have fun, when you're talking to your astral ghost friend all the time. That people don't really understand. They think you're psychotic, but in reality, you're actually having a lot of fun. But so I got to put on a brave face, step forward, and in order to kind of get this guy's attention, I kind of put out a little bit of my spiritual energy. I don't totally unleash it, And as I'm raising my arms up and slowly releasing this energy, just enough for him to kind of get a sense that, hey, I've got something going on here too. Of course, this is all just a ruse, but of course, taking the bait, this Clash, he starts to open his eyes slowly. He's a little curious. He goes, "So what the hell are you doing?" "Oh, you think you know some magic too?" He just keeps looking more interested. Now, at this point, I'm trying to sell it. I'm trying to get his attention. I'm trying to get these guys to, expect the unexpected. Because they're thinking I'm going to physically do something. It's going to go on to them, but I don't know. I can only imagine what Paul is playing from the other side. But as I begin to focus my energy, and I start to act like I'm loading up to unleash some kind of like anime spirit gun or something, I crack a smile, look him dead in the eyes, and I say, "There's no magic, mate. Demonic." And like calling any other overlord, do what the lyrics from that pop punk band you fellas probably know, The Offspring, says. I reach up to the sky, call out his name, and as I pull my arms down, suddenly through the red lenses I can see Paul do something. What does he do? Well, he scares the hell out of these guys, one at a time, and they all run off screaming. I couldn't really see what exactly happened, but taking off my red lens glasses, I put them back, and Mike is completely stunned. Like, what the hell is he? He's like, what the hell just happened? Well, I'm not sure, Mike. I'll have to ask Paul exactly. And then, Mike is looking at puzzled, like, who the hell is Paul? Who are you talking about? So I put my glasses back on. I say, "Hey, Paul, you still there?" He's like, "Yeah." He appears to me from behind me on my right side, as he usually does. And then I go, "So what the hell happened? What was that?" And Because, man, I haven't had that much fun since the great laugh of 2009. And of course, I stopped for a moment, and I remember it well, but, again, that's a story for another time. So I asked, Paul, what did you do to scare them off? What did you do, man? And he says, oh, it was simple trick, at just the right time, at the crescendo of your little theater act right there, I went around to each of them and put my astral foot into their tiny punk ass. And we burst out laughing. Like the movie Ghost or whatever, right? You start, So we're laughing our ass off. I take my glasses off and I thank him for showing up. And Mike is confused as to hell as to why I'm laughing by myself here. He just thinks I'm a complete nut myself. But I think the adrenaline's pumping so much that he just thinks that I'm just, hyped up as well. But I was excited to see that Paul was able to sort of go from the astral to the physical. He says he's been practicing, so I guess it worked. No wonder he wanted to show off. It was the perfect time to do it, right? But man, oh shit, that's so cool. But Mike's still baffled. And so he asked, he goes, who the hell are you talking to? I said, it's my friend. He's kind of a ghost. I've kind of got these powers now, or something. I don't know what to call it. I mean, it's not really, I'm not a superhero or something. It's just, kind of my spiritual awareness has reached, after a few strange battles, and, some incidents, something's just kind of changed. And Mike looks at me and goes, dude, I didn't know you're friends with ghosts. What the fuck is that shit? But I say, hey, I've got a job to do, my friends are part of that team, and since becoming a minister, things in my life just haven't been the same. So Mike looks at me and, so you're a spiritual man, he said. And I look away for a second and I think about it for a brief moment. And I look back and I smile and say,
no, I'm the damn saint.
Tune in for next week's episode of The Damn Saint.
Thank you so much for being a part of Matthew Myth with me for all this time. Please subscribe, like everything, because there's more to come for you from me this February. And especially thank you for following me through this new series of The Damn Saint. Season 2 begins February. Stick around.
Until then, be true, be you, and be aware. There is no fate but what you create. I am the messenger, the damn saint.
Come on. Good boy.